Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about some different tactics for airsoft that I personally use, and maybe you can pick up a few tips or tricks that you can possibly use or change, perfect for your own potential playstyle for yourself individually or maybe for a team. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey, so before we get into this, I need to go ahead and make sure that I put this disclaimer up here that all the different things I talk about are only for airsoft. This is not for like real law enforcement, military, or even personal firearm training. This is just for airsoft, our fun hobby that we go out there and have fun with other friends and just have a good old time. So don't wield these don't wield these airsoft replicas or firearms in public. You don't want to have law enforcement called for a simple mistake. And make sure that you always wear proper eye pro or safety glasses or mask to make sure you don't get hurt in airsoft. Safety is always first, and safety is always key. So now let's get into it. So, in my personal opinion, I like to have a squad of 4 members, no more than 4, because at that point, you have to communicate more than I would like to communicate. And I like to move quick and move silently, as silent as possible. When you have 7 or 8 guys, yeah, you do have superior numbers and thus have more guns shooting at your enemy. But if you have 4 members of your squad, you should be able to perform the task at hand. Now, no task is the same. So if you're going to secure a specific location, if you're going to assault a building, if you're going to eliminate a target in airsoft, these are all airsoft scenarios, that might depend on what support gunner you want to have with you. So that can be a gentleman or individual with a LMG or a light machine gun or a heavy machine gun. There are different types of options out there available to you that can lay down. These individuals can lay down lots of firepower, suppressing power, and they can help your team move up. Or they can be the more stealthy, the sniper, a person that has a sniper rifle, bolt action, or any other variants out there, such as like a Barrett 50 cal. These type of individuals can excel at long range target elimination, as well as being able to take out individual targets without them being seen. So that really does help. In both these different scenarios, these individuals need to have somebody to help cover the gap with their MUDs. So individual with a support gun at our particular field, they have a 50-foot minimum engagement distance, or MED, meaning that if they're within 50 feet, they cannot be shot by the LMG. That way they don't get hurt by their increased power, because if they have an LMG, they're allowed to shoot full auto, and they're allowed to shoot at an increased joule or FPS rating at our particular field. So I like to have 3 other individuals that have M4s, AKs, or any other rifleman class, because we don't have a submachine gun class at our particular field. So pistols, M4s, AKs, all those are considered rifleman class. So they shoot typically at 1.5 or 1.55 joules, and the equivalent FPS to it. So these individuals, they don't have a MED. Typically they are allowed to have full auto, although I typically don't run full auto just because I like to conserve my ammunition. I only have a limited amount with me. I don't carry a lot of ammo, so I want to make sure every shot that I shoot is going to be on target. And full auto, I feel like I waste extra shots when I could have done it with the first 1 or 2 shots. If I miss those first 1 or 2 shots, I'm going to recalculate and send 2 more downrange, correcting the different flight path that the BB went down first. So on a typical map where it's evenly divided, I would like to send the first LMG guy right here with his support rifleman. That way they can protect him. And another rifleman here and here just to protect his flanks. That's only if cover itself is evenly dispersed amongst the map. And you can typically tell just from walking into the map whether or not, hey, it looks like the cover is heavier here or heavier here, and therefore switch your support gunner to that particular position. At this point where he's in the middle, he can effectively cover both sides, here and here, as well as straight forward. And so if a gentleman over here on the left-hand side is underneath or coming underneath heavy attack, the support gunner can switch his firepower to the left-hand flank as well to help prevent or keep enemies from moving upon him. And the gentleman in the middle with the rifleman, he will prevent any individual getting too close to the support gunner. That way the support gunner will still be able to shoot individuals without having to switch targets because they're within his minimum engagement distance. This is only one scenario. I do have a second scenario, and these different scenarios can be applied to different positions. Now, typically, we like to run with a support gunner just because more firepower equals more volume of support, but a sniper can do the exact same. If I was a sniper, I would like to actually have him back one position, so the rifleman, instead of being at the very front, the rifleman would be right here, and the sniper would be behind here. That way the sniper can shoot further back, and they're not so close to the sniper, because remember, the sniper does have a 100-foot MED, which I didn't explain. Sniper has a 100-foot MED, and they can shoot at a higher joule rating. I believe a sniper can shoot either 2.5 joules, I believe it is, 2.5 or 2.3. That's still a significant increase over the rifleman's 1.55. So because they do have a 100-foot MED, you need to have your rifleman, therefore, put further out to prevent these individuals from being overwhelmed, or the snipers from being overwhelmed and within their MED. So that's my preferred way whenever I see evenly dispersed map. Moving on to the next example. Alrighty, so on this particular slide right here, you can see the map, or the theoretical map that we're using. It's obvious that there is reduced cover on the right-hand side, or there is a sparsity of cover. So automatically, whenever I see this, I want to put my support gunner on the very right-hand side. That way he will have a increased line of sight straight forward into the kill zone or kill box. That way, whenever individuals are moving from cover to cover in that great distance, he will have easy pickings on the victims, or just on the enemy team, enemy players on the enemy team. So to support him, I want to have my riflemen scattered to the very far left, the middle, and either right beside him or right in front. So if you're using or if the individual, the support gunner, has a sniper instead of a LMG or HMG, I want to have the rifleman just slightly above him and the block in front of him. That way that the rifleman can prevent enemies from getting into that buffer zone and being within their MED. That way that your support gunner or pure person with a specialty weapon is still able to operate and function and shoot people with airsoft guns within their ranges. Now, whenever you are entering different maps, just by using this basic concept of where you want to position your individuals, so will come in handy. So the map may not be directly like this right here, where it's on the right hand side has less cover. It may be on the left hand side, or maybe in the middle. You want to, of course, position your support gunner or person wherever there is reduced cover in between them and the enemy player. That way they have more angles to shoot and more of a kill box. That's what I prefer to do, and having a increased knowledge of your topical or geographical location on particular maps will, of course, aid you whenever you're making decisions. If you are in command, if you are just a squad mate, or say you're the support gunner, and you have any advice or have any prior knowledge or knowledge from reading particular informational maps, videos, or just talking to other players who have played there before, you can, of course, disperse that information amongst your squad mates and give it or send it up the chain to the person in command of your particular squad. And of course, these tactics can be altered and changed depending on the particular map in question. Now, let's talk about a common phrase I've heard amongst my friends and then just new players that are in Airsoft. If I can't see them, then they can't see me, right? No, not always. If you've played there for a while, then this is at most or at best a half-truth. So if you've played at the particular location a lot and you know how it is being inside a particular cover or a piece of cover, say like you're in a building with a window facing forward, and you've played there and you know what it's like inside there and what you can see out of there, then yeah, if you know that that window does not have line of sight within a specific trench going to it or something, then yeah, you're fine. You will most likely be okay if the individual is only in that building. But what if you're playing on a place where you have no idea, like the different bunkers, barricades, or say that the week before the event staff moved different pieces of cover around so that whenever you are crawling in that trench close to the window, that piece of cover that you thought would be there to cover you, it's not there anymore. Then you can't assume that they won't be able to see you if you can't see them. Say that they're at a different angle or they're in a dark room, they can't see you. That's why I always try to, whenever I'm moving from cover to cover, either move quickly or stop, look, go back into cover, think, okay, I see that I saw a head here, and here, or I know I need to go here and here and here and here to get to that particular position. I'm going to then use speed to get from point A to point B and get in those particular positions where I know I'll be safe and can reassess my situation at every single point that I go to. So whenever I change bunkers, I'm going to immediately reassess and go through this whole process again of assuming or anticipating and analyzing the particular situation that I am in. So whenever you're with a squad or whatnot, this whole tactic of if they can't see me, then if I can't see them, then they can't see me, needs to be readdressed. Because what if you can't see them? Talk to your squad mates, see if they can see them. And if they can see them, they know that the enemy player obviously has a perfect shot at your next position you're about to move to. Then you need to talk to them and be aware of that particular possibility. That way you're not caught unaware or potentially make a bad move, and it may cost you your life in the game. So that is why I recommend always communicate with your team. Talk about where you want to go to next, have a plan, or at least a basic outline of a plan with your team or just the person who seems to be in charge of your team. That way you can get advice, tips and tricks, and create some sort of a battle plan. Peeking and slicing corners. So while there are a lot more videos on the internet about how to properly peek and slice corners using particular angles, particular methods, I am not that experienced. I am not that advanced. I've learned to peek and slice corners by trial and error. So whenever I peek and slice a corner, I do it improperly, I'm going to get shot. Or I'm going to obviously tell that this did not feel natural. Whenever I'm popping around a corner, oh, that didn't feel natural. Or just, you learn trial by fire, if you will. So when you start to peek a corner, fully commit to peeking with replica. So whenever I'm peeking a corner, I'm not going to have my replica down, just look, because what happens if you peek that corner and bing, bang, boom, there's a guy there, and you had a second to shoot him, and he didn't know you were there. Well, you missed your opportunity, and that chance you had to run and peek in the corner, your guns down, to raise it and shoot, could give him the opportunity to A, step into cover, or B, just whip his gun around and thump, you're dead. So whenever you peek to a corner, fully commit. If you're going to look around a corner, don't have your gun down or whatnot. Have it up. Have it at least in a semi-ready position where you can easily just raise, shoot, and not have it completely pick it up and whatnot. There's no need to expose yourself unnecessarily whenever you go to shoot or to peek. You want to be ready to shoot. So another tip that I actually learned from paintball, particularly from speedball, is don't hunt or stick your head out unnecessarily looking for targets. So say you're at a piece of cover and you don't know where any of the enemies are. So what you do not want to do is to have the cover here, have your head all the way out here, looking around for targets, and oh, I see you. No, you're hunting, and you're making yourself quite vulnerable to be shot. Not only are you obviously exposed, but the sudden movements of your head looking and trying to identify targets can easily draw the enemy's eye to you, because your eye is drawn to movement. So if somebody's looking and they see a head moving back and forth, up and down, looking for people, and they're going to see you. Now that's kind of an extreme example of don't hunt, but the same concept can be applied to simpler types of hunting. Don't have your head just sitting out in the open looking and waiting for somebody. Kind of be concealed, or at least be partially concealed behind cover. So if you're looking for a person in a general direction, have a piece of cover right here, kind of be somewhat behind it, somewhat concealed. That way you kind of blend in, at least more than having your head completely out in the open. So like if cover's here, don't have your head up here above it, have your head kind of below it, or at least partially concealed by it. That way if you have to drop your head back and try to avoid a shot, you don't have as far to go, and also it does reduce your like increase your concealment and reduce your target size. So that's my advice when it comes to avoiding detection and also not being shot. So whenever you are trading shots and trying to eliminate an enemy player while you're in a firefight, don't be predictable. Randomness is your friend. So whenever you're popping out to shoot, pop out and shoot, boom, 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 back in target. No, boom, boom, boom. You don't want to shoot the exact same amount of times, because you become predictable. If I find somebody and I know they're going to shoot 4 times every single time, I'm going to wait until I hear that 4 shots is up. I'm going to pop back out, and I know I can fire again. Change patterns, so don't pop out on the same side. So when I pop out up high, I'm going to come down, go low, switch sides. That way you're not able to be predictable, or it's harder to predict where you're going to come out next. So if you're at a square piece of cover, you have up top, sides, and that's almost 6 or 7 options that you have of coming out, because you come out middle, top right, top left, side, top left, bottom left, same thing right, top right, bottom right. All those are different corners that you can pop out on. It does help if you, when you're popping on the right hand side, don't go right, left, that's kind of obvious. Go right, left, right. You kind of change it up. That way they don't think that you're going to pop out at a specific interval or whatnot either. So just changing patterns will increase your chance of being avoiding a shot, avoiding being shot, as well as by changing patterns, you also are giving yourself the potential to have different viewpoints or different sight lines whenever you're fighting somebody, because the right hand side may give you a direct line of sight only, the left hand side may give you a corner shot, so you might have a easier shot on the other side. So changing patterns does have other benefits besides just saving yourself. So how to potentially clear rooms. Now, while there are a lot of different methods to clearing rooms, I have a particular method I like to go through. First, peek slightly, even just for a second or two, see if I see anything that's immediately like a piece of danger. So say I know that there's an enemy in the room, but I don't know exactly where he is. I'm going home to the corner, I'm gonna peek, see anybody? No? Then I'm gonna go clear the room as fast as I possibly can, because I feel like whenever I'm exposed, I don't want to be exposed for a long period of time. So the quicker I can go through and move through the room, clearing every corner that I possibly can, I'm going to have a more of a chance to stay alive, versus going through and methodically clearing every single corner and whatnot, because I'm exposed once I am moving through the room. Typically, I'm going from point A to point B to the next piece of cover in the room. So if I peek, I know there's a wall in front of me where there's a corner around the back part. We peek, see, walk forward as fast as I can, clear right, clear left, get the next piece of cover, reset, and move on down the hallway or to the next room, and go eventually clearing the entire structure. That's how I would like to clear rooms. Now, if you have a team, it's probably a little bit easier if you go a little slower, but I like to work, in a small squad, or typically I push ahead and I lead my teammates. But different play styles have different ways of clearing rooms. That's just my preferred method. So, like I was stating earlier, when we talk about different team tactics and how to clear different maps and how to spread out, different guns and different platforms have different play styles. So let's go ahead and give an example. A M4 or a AK will have a different play style than a LMG or HMG, light machine gun or heavy machine gun, because different platforms, obviously. But now, and then they're in different FPS brackets. So rifleman does not have a MED, while a heavy machine gun or light machine gun has an MED on semi-auto and full. So a rifleman has a 30-foot MED on full auto at my particular field, while a heavy machine gun has a 50-foot MED on full auto. A rifleman can shoot semi-auto point blank. Heavy machine gun or light machine gun has a 50-foot MED on even semi if they have the option for semi. So the reason why I'm saying that different guns have different play styles is even the rifleman category, a pistol is not going to play the exact same as a M4 typically. Especially when you're outdoors, you can see the difference in a pistol and in a rifleman or a person that has an M4 or a longer platform. Pistols, while they do shoot far, or they can shoot far, I would much rather have a M4 for those long distance shots over a pistol, just because I am inherently more stable. Me personally, am more stable with a M4 because I have the extra point of contact in my shoulder with the stock, versus just holding a pistol. I feel like I have more variation with my shots on a pistol. So with a pistol, in order to compensate for that, I'm going to have to rush forward and be more aggressive. Hence the different play style. And with the M4, I can engage in those longer range firefights without having to be as aggressive and takes any risk getting closer to the enemy player to make sure my shots count. So with a pistol or a submachine gun, I have to get closer. Those are different play styles. Same thing with a sniper. With a sniper, I'm not going to go through and clear a whole building with a sniper rifle. You can't do that. You have an MED of 100 foot. So instead, I'm going to pull sidearm, and if I have somebody else with me, I'm going to take front. Typically, I'm the kind of player that wants to take front when clearing buildings. I want to go through and push as fast as possible and clear it. But if I have a sniper rifle and a sidearm with a pistol, I know automatically it's better if I'm a support person and I let somebody with an M4 or a submachine gun clear the building, because they're going to have a much better chance of clearing it and taking everybody out effectively than I will. So that's it's just kind of obvious when it comes to different platforms have different playstyles. So snipers should not go through and be a frontline person. They are more of a support person. They are in a different category. And not all replicas shoot the same in different maps. I mean, different replicas are better or worse than others. So this is especially apparent on when you're at an event and there are different missions, such as eliminating targets. So if there are high-value targets hidden in a particular compound, a LMG, while it's a good choice in almost all situations, it may not be the most effective means of eliminating people. A DMR or a sniper rifle, which has even further range than an LMG and probably better accuracy than a LMG, would be preferred. LMGs or HMGs are typically meant to have heavy suppressing power, so they don't have to be as accurate as other guns, because they're meant to keep people's heads down so our team can move forward and eliminate them. So a sniper could pick off that one or two targets that you got to kill, get in, get out, big boom, mission done. But while if you got to go through and hold an objective for long periods of time, a sniper may not be the best tool for that, while a heavy machine gun or an M4 may be better off for defending particular positions, because they have more shots that they can send down range, thusly killing more targets at one time. So there are different weapons, and even like a pistol or a submachine gun may be great for inside defending targets. So say you're at a big compound, you got to keep it from the enemies from taking it. Having a submachine gun inside will help you. So just different guns and different equipment have different areas of excellence, or different areas of practicality. So just keep that in mind whenever you're on a team, you're on a squad, and different people have different guns, how you can best utilize them, especially if you're a captain or a commander in the particular team or squad. Hey guys, thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to drop them in the comments. And also, if you have any other tips or advice that I didn't cover in this video, feel free to drop it in the comments. After all, these are all my personal opinions and things that I've learned over my paintball and airsoft little career, I suppose. So thank y'all, and I hope y'all have a great day. Peace.